So, worst day at work. Yep. I'm thinking everything about to be breezy because I finally got uh my Keurig tea finally in because yesterday I got it and didn't have the right receptacle because even when I took the base off, the removable base, it was still too big to fit underneath the nozzle. So today I finally brought in the right size cup or whatever, and I was like, "Yes, sir, yes, sir." So of course, get there before it's time to clock in. Brew the tea tasted more like coffee than tea because it had one of these little packets that you were supposed to pour in before letting the actual tea run through into the cup. I was like, oh, worst investment ever. But it was on a BOGO, so I wasn't too upset. And then it grew on me later. I guess it tasted better cold because it sure wasn't good when it was first brewed, in my opinion. But get in there, pretty much do. I've emptied up. Well, I did as much as I could on the one float that dude told me uh, to do to help one of my associates out. And after that, I saw him pretty much rushing out the door. I'm like, bro, I thought he was closing with us. But apparently he was supposed to be gone at 5. So pretty much like when I got there, he was supposed to be gone. Uh, but yeah, he even told me like, uh, I got you out of working in the bakery today because it's only going to be 3 of you guys here tonight. So I was like, okay, cool, because it didn't say uh, bakery clerk or anything like that on my schedule. Because early in the week he told me that was the last time uh, that I would have to work in bakery without it actually reflecting on my schedule. Because it's not that I have a problem with helping out the rest of the store because, I mean, technically it's my store, right? And I want to help do my part. So I definitely don't mind helping out the bakery when they need help. But when I come in there and get blindsided, it's it's an issue because I didn't go in there thinking about to do bakery today. Like that's a whole different mindset that I've got to get ready for. Man, I wish I was you. It's easy over there. That's not the point. Even if it is, that's not the point. Um, so I ended up helping one of my associates finish up the float he was on, and um, oh yeah, before dude left though, I filled up some of the milk and some of the eggs because they were ran through. So um, but yeah, on that subject, after I did that, the third associate that was there with us in the grocery department was talking about how the ice was messed up, and I was like, "Well, see, if I had seen that, of course I would have done that. But I'm not going into the building looking for work because I purposely get there early enough to do what I'm gonna do before clocking in. Because sometimes I shop a little before clocking in, so I get there a little earlier than usual. Than most. And I didn't think to look over into the freezer to see what the ice was looking like because I would have done it had I known what ice looked like. So he was talking about how the ice was wrecked, and obviously that couldn't have been like that just when he got there. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, why would something not be done about that? He told me about milk and eggs and the ice looking like that for what? Empty spaces where 20-pound bags supposed to be. But anyway, here's where the problematic part comes in. So I finish up the float for my associate, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that float toward the end of the night or whatever. But then he brings to my attention like, um, there's usually a either the team leader or the assistant department manager usually does the water, but neither of them were there that day, and I don't get why, because the assistant manager is always there every Friday. I always close with him every Friday, and we needed to fill up water, so we got on that, and then before I could even get the water out there, okay, this is important beforehand. They kept calling people over there to bakery, and well, they kept saying customer needs assistance in bakery, and I was like, is nobody gonna go over there? So I went over there. Turns out the lady needed to pick up her cake, and the cake wasn't even done right. It was supposed to be um, a Batman themed cake, and turns out we did have the license. I just wasn't sure if we even had the license for it, but we had the license for it. And the order even said it was supposed to be bats on it or something. So they didn't specifically say Batman, but the, there weren't even bats on it at the very least. But turns out they didn't have the little toy that goes on it. So, um, then they called someone back over there to bakery as we finally had gotten the water flowed out, and someone from Delhi was helping him get something. And then the store manager comes and tells me, um, could you go over there in bakery? And I'm like, yes, sir. Of course, I'm not that problematic of a person. Said, yes, sir. I'll get right on it. But then I saw the girl helping the customers, like I said. So I was like, okay. And my associate tells me, because we were gonna do the water together, you should go over there. And I was like, well, the girl already served him. Like the problems, the problems dealt with. And he was like, yeah, well, there hasn't been anyone over there since 5, which was true. And I was like, I was dreading it so much. Because not only do they always hit me up right as I get through the door, like, we need you in bakery. I mean, I hadn't even clocked in yet, like 2 of those times, talking about, could you go over there in bakery right now? I'm like, it's not even the top of the hour. Can I get through the door and breathe in the air, please? And I'm like, I understand they trying to go because they've been working like over 10 hours now. I understand. Trust me. I'm not trying to be that guy. But this is what happens when you say yes once, apparently. But yeah, I'm pretty upset about that. And there's this guy in the produce section that I talk to whenever he's working. Um, um, we usually like be pretty real with each other, like music or just uh, mishaps in the store or just happenings, period, or how life can be at the store or whatever. So he kept asking me, like, uh, like, you're not over there in bakery, are you? I said, hell no. It sounds like they need help though. I don't know who gonna help them. This was way before, like, I even helped the lady with a cake order. I was like, "Woo, they need some help over there." We're just goofing off, pretty much. We just goofing. Um, and then, like I told dude from produce, it was inevitable, but I I put on the apron and the hairnet and whatever, and I sit there in the window like this, staring at him. I said, I said, my heart's broken for you. My heart hurts. I was like, it was inevitable. Which it was. I don't even know why I tried to act like it wasn't going to happen sooner or later. But it was the first time it happened in the middle of the shift. And I was pissed off because I hadn't even started pulling up items on the shelves yet, on the different aisles. And I have to cover 5 aisles plus the whole frozen section. And this all happened, well, I had to fully take over at 7 p.m. So you already know I didn't get a break, a lunch break, which I really don't care about because most of the time I don't take a lunch break anyway. But so I was stressing like the aisles aren't going to get done. Great. And then there was no way they were gonna be able to do frozen because dude would have had to do milk and eggs again, and they were already trying to do the aisles together. So bottom line, I ended up being in that building until almost 12 a.m., which isn't like it hasn't happened before, but that hasn't happened while I had to work bakery in that same day. Never hasn't happened. And that's because we didn't only have 3 people in our department on one of those days. The best part about working in bakery, though, is pulling this, pulling the materials. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. It must be some seasoning from the food I ate earlier that got stuck in the crevices of my mouth or something. But the best part about working in bakery, though, is when we're pulling the baked goods off the shelves, getting ready to donate them in the morning because I believe it's like 2 a.m. now. In about 3 hours, someone is going to come to the store and pick those goods up so that they can go toward the Feeding America program. I love being a part of that. Considering that our family was once in need of their services for quite a while. I mean, even besides that, even if we weren't, it's just a good feeling knowing that instead of throwing that out, we're actually helping people, you know? But yeah, that's the best part about working in bakery for me. Um, so it's just that I'm not too keen on having to switch up my frame of mind like that because I'm not a very patient person. But that's the weird thing about me working, um, even in grocery. Even if I was working in customer service, I think I'd be able to deal with customers well because, uh, of course, working in grocery, you do have to have a certain level of customer service experience in order to help customers along because they're going to ask you where so and so is, or they're going to ask you your opinion on this item, or they're going to ask you, do you have any alternatives for such and such? And I'm always very polite, very willing to go the extra mile for the customer, So it's really hard to explain, but I think it's simply because I know what it feels like to be on that other side as the customer. I don't want to feel like I'm a nuisance, like I shouldn't be here in your way, bothering you. Because anytime I go into literally any other store, I feel unwelcome. I don't feel like giving them my money, but it's certain situations like what can you do? Like if you go to a department store, you obviously went there for a reason because the smaller stores don't have what you need. It sucks. But yeah. Um so I mean just knowing that it's just like just treat people decently, you know? And on top of that, it's more like why not? You don't have to act like you don't have to let the customer know you hate your job. And I'm not saying I really hate my job, but um sometimes it gets a bit stressful. But um I guess I was mostly saying like uh what was I saying? I forgot what I forgot what my point was. But but yeah, the customer, that's where I was going with it. The customer didn't ask for that. The customer doesn't know what's going on in your life. Everybody has their problems, including that customer. Your customer does not need to feel your problems on top of their own problems just because you can't keep your attitude in check. Don't bring that to work, or at the very least, don't bring that to the customer. And that's why it's good that you're able to get along with your associates because then you'd have someone to talk to about your problems while you're on the clock. So it's a form of stress relief right there. Bit of peer to peer therapy. Um, in that way, it works out and balances out, right? But it was just the worst day because there was too much. It was too much. Especially since I guess the girl from Delhi that was helping those particular customers get the item they wanted, she was having a little moment like, "Ain't you supposed to be over here? I work in Delhi. I don't know how to do this stuff. You clearly rung them up." Well, she said something like, I'm not supposed to be doing this," and I'm like, "I'm not supposed to be doing it either. I work in grocery. My shirt is green. Well, my shirt color don't match what bakery doing. Okay, it's that simple. Like I'm not supposed to be over there. Um, Worst day, especially since um my Uber was at Piggly Wiggly for like 5 minutes, so I had to cancel and get a lift. It was a great experience getting back in the lift after a few months. But yeah, worst day from pretty much from 4 o'clock to midnight. It was just issue after issue. I wasn't here for it. It's somewhere right in there. Well, get it, get it, get it, get it.